Hi guys! Welcome back to another quick little Blender tutorial, little way to really try to help you limit the amount of tris that you have. So last time I went over the shading smooth and everything else and how to really make it so that your high poly look kind of remained while not sacrificing the amount of tris that you're going for. The next thing that I want to go over is how we can still kind of limit the amount of tris that you have, because this scene still has a lot of secrets into it. For example, if I go to the bottom of the tubes and I pull them out, you can see they're hollow. They have absolutely nothing. They don't have a top or a bottom. They have the shade smooth, and without it, if I shade flat, it's just polygonal. And I took away the bottoms. And that's because if I would add this, right now we're at 144 tris. If I add a bottom to it, I go up 22 tris, which might not seem like a lot, but if you figure you have 22 tris there, and then even my light bulbs, bring these out, they don't have a bottom. So imagine that everything that is cylindrical, every cylinder here, which none of them have an end to it, even on the inside. I'm pretty sure I took out the inside. I didn't. Look at that. See, even then, what was that? It's still more that I'm saving, and I'm managing to maintain my project without having to sacrifice tris. Now look at that. Just those 4 tubes right there that I took away the end caps for them, the bottom end caps at that, not all of them, I saved about 200 tris. And as you can see, everything that I have is all hollow. And that getting rid of those end caps really helps to overall just get rid of that, just that much more. And whenever I had all of the end caps on everything, I was still sitting at about 7,500 to 8,000 tris, which a scene like this, as far as I know, should only have roughly about maybe 5 to 7,000 tris, especially since it's a lot of squares, a lot of blocks. That's not a lot going on, and it's very simple. Obviously, I'm going to be adding more to this for my actual animation itself, but it's very simple, and so it needs to have a low amount of tris. Those little itty bitty faces end up having, how can I explain it? Imagine that every single vertice, we'll take this tube for example. Imagine that every single vertice, if you make a face here, it's automatically putting a line and making a square or a triangle on every single vertice. And that's where the tris comes from. It's actually triangles. How many triangles are there? And that is something that a lot of people don't realize. The more shapes that you have, the more triangles that the program is actually building in and rendering, and the slower it's gonna go. Another big thing is, and I should have probably talked about this in the last video, when you're getting rid of the subsurf modifier, normally whenever you're subsurfing, you would have a loop cut up to here to stop it from being like super kind of pulled in and stuff like that, kind of pulling over into like an egg shape. You don't need that anymore. Your straight lines can just have the straight lines. You no longer need to worry about that. Now obviously, like, Here I have some switches and stuff like that, so I have more than just a straight line or one or two rings there. But if you come over to here, well, maybe that's a bad idea. You know what? We'll come over to here. I only have the top and the bottom for the tubes, so I don't have any need whatsoever to actually add more loop cuts, which would add more tris. The tubes themselves are only 48 tris, and I probably could even limit them a little bit more, but I'm sacrificing a little bit because the more that I try to limit on these tubes, because they're a main focus for my project, the more people might realize. So, and then you come over to here, very small. I could probably get rid of the face up top here, but I don't know how I'm going to do my camera angle just yet, so I'm keeping it until I know. But, ooh, did I not? I didn't even get rid of this face. Look at that. Can get rid of that face, more tris, boom, gone. So that must mean that this one still has it, right? I have vertices over there that I needed to get rid of. Look at that, boom. 118 and 118. That's how it should be for both of them, right? Yep. And once again, I don't know how I'm going to do my camera angle. If I don't have a camera angle where it's above it for whatever reason, like if I'm not going to be up here or whatever, then I can still, again, get rid of these top points, these top faces for the tubes because you're not going to see them. So that really, really helps, making sure that you have the least amount possible. Because even if I add an edge loop, this is 262 tris right now. If I add an edge loop, it goes up almost 50 tris on just an edge loop. That is a lot. Now, obviously, you're going to need your edge loops for the proper curvature and everything else that you're going for, and everything like that. And then that also applies. If you look up here, I have this being a little bit more blocky. These emit light. Whoopsie. Am I on EV still? Yeah. These emit light. So you're not really going to notice that there's like some blocky points on areas that you don't really focus on. Like you're going to see mostly the front of these. So having it be a little bit blocky and getting rid of some of the tris up top to have that little blocky feeling to it. And even in the back, like on the back side here, you could still have that, which on my sense, I might not be able to because of this area back here that you can kind of see and, going at different camera angles and everything else. But, you can sacrifice a little bit of actual visual integrity if it's a place where you're not going to be able to see. Like if you have, for example, down here, you're not going to really see this edge down here. I could probably eliminate a lot of these angles right here and a lot of this geometry at the bottom because you're not really going to be able to tell. Again, I'm not really too worried about that just yet, but if you are, or if you're looking to squeeze as much as you can out of it, then that's something that you might want to look into. Another thing that I was told is triangles are not as bad as you might think. Yeah, triangles mess up the smoothness of the faces, and if you go like this and you go on face select, Jesus, what did I do? There we go. You want to be able to, hit alt and choose all of the faces in a row and stuff like that, and you want that to be smooth, and I understand that, but sometimes you actually want to break the smoothness of the faces, where you would take, say, this vertice and go like that, then, whoopsie, you merge the mesh, which if you didn't know this how you do it, you just merge the mesh, and then you go back and you try to select the faces, and it doesn't select it all anymore. It breaks this line, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes that's something that you need to do, and especially when you're going into a complex kind of visual. Sometimes you need to break up that flow of faces and create a new flow of faces specifically for the effect that you're looking for. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I know it seems like very trivial things, but these very trivial things, especially on that kitchen that I showed last time, it helped me take it from millions and millions of tris down to about 15,000. So these minor details that, some tutorials don't tell you about actually do a large amount of help that you may not realize. So let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Let me know other things that you wouldn't mind knowing about, and if I know about it, I'll tell you. Hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell, all that fun stuff, and I will see all of you guys next time. Bye, guys!